Hi, it's great to just start doing these devotions again. Uh, if you're new to watching these devotions, what I'm doing is I'm just sharing with you some of my insights as I read through the Bible every year, and so this is my Bible reading plan. And today, uh, we're looking at Matthew chapter 13, where Jesus has a number of parables. And one of the parables reminded me of when I play with my three youngest grandsons. Now, this is the toy box that I bring out of the closet every time my three youngest grandsons come over to visit. And of course, the very first thing they do is they start pulling stuff out of this toy box and kind of scattering it all over the floor. And each of them kind of has their favorite toys to play with. But this is my favorite toy to play with, partially because it's a lot of fun to play with the toy cash register, but also because this was the cash register that my kids played with when they were little, so it brings back all kinds of memories. But this isn't really the treasure that I look for as I'm digging through this box. There's something even more precious than this cash register. So you just got to keep digging until finally, way down in the corner, you find the coins that go with the cash register. These are the most precious toys in this toy box. Now, the reason why I talk about this is one of the parables that Jesus tells is about finding a treasure. It's in Matthew chapter 13, verse 44. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all he had and bought that field. What is the treasure, the most important thing that you are looking for? Jesus said, the most important thing is the kingdom of heaven. To understand that our God rules. He rules in the sense that he controls this world, and he rules in the sense that he loved us enough to make sure that we could be part of his kingdom by sending his son to suffer and die for us. You know, finding the kingdom is the most important thing. And it's when we have this most important treasure that things begin to make sense. Because in our Old Testament lesson for today, Genesis 47 and 48, there are things that just don't make sense. You know, in fact, in verse 40 or chapter 48, Joseph is bringing his two sons to be blessed by his dad, Jacob or Israel. And Jacob is an old man, he can hardly see, and Joseph brings his sons up so that the oldest son is on the right, will receive the blessing of the right hand, the greater blessing, the firstborn blessing. And what does his dad do? But his dad switches his hands like this. And it's like, Dad, this makes no sense. You're making a mistake. And you know, his dad knew exactly what he was doing. He said, Ephraim, the younger, will be greater than the older, Manasseh. And there's another thing that just makes no sense. As you read chapter 47, you find out how Joseph was instrumental in basically subjugating the entire nation of Egypt to Pharaoh. And you go, God, this doesn't seem to make any sense. And I appreciate this today because, you know, today is Inauguration Day. And whether you are Democrat or Republican, you know, some of the events of the last year, you're kind of going, God, this doesn't seem to make any sense. Why are you allowing these things to happen? And what I want you to remember is that if we have the kingdom, if we have the treasure, if we understand that we have a God who made us part of his kingdom through the death of his son and his resurrection. And if as part of his kingdom, he rules over all things for our good, then I don't necessarily have to understand everything that happens. I just know that I'm part of the kingdom, and the king's got this. He's got it figured out. And so it's my prayer today that you find comfort as you read the mixed up things of Genesis chapters 47 and 48. God's in control. He's got it. He's got a plan, even though we don't understand it. And then as you read the parables in Matthew chapter 13, especially, remember how precious it is to know that you're part of God's kingdom and everything's going to be okay. Amen.